Hi there, knife people, hello lady and gentlemen. That was a 1957 movie, The Pride and the Passion. And in this scene, you saw Frank Sinatra, Gary Grant, and Sophia Loren, and a couple really cool knives. And that's what this video is going to be about, the knives I got in Spain. If you are a knife enthusiast, shopping for knife in Spain is not easy. Oh yeah, there are knives on literally every corner in some cities like Toledo. Of course, here they say Toledo. Unfortunately, most of these knives would never satisfy a true knife enthusiast because they are souvenir quality. Or as we say in the States, gas station knives. It was very upsetting to me to find that Toledo, which was well known since the Middle Ages as the sword and blade making capital of the world, no longer has a single functioning workshop or knife making shop. The last video that captured a craftsman actually at work in Toledo was filmed in 2019. Here it is.
Figura Zamorano el Toledano. Yo empecé a fabricar espadas con mi papá, que me enseñó. Mi padre le enseñó su padre. O sea, esta es que yo soy la cuarta generación.
Oh, the door sign is still there, but Mariano Zamorano is nowhere to be found. What's on display are a bunch of souvenir-grade swords and shields that you can find literally in any store in almost every city in Spain, wrapped and ready to ship gladii, which have nothing to do with Toledo, a bunch of souvenir knives like across the street, and some older works, I guess, by the previous owner, and then some fantasy blades and even Napoleonic era weapons. However, the new owners are, they pose themselves as custom knife makers and sell a lot of products online, but only custom knife making I found was this person doing unknown work on audibly untreated piece of steel. I have no idea what they were working on. All that's left from the old master is some parts on the bench and his tool board that you saw in the other video. By the way, this is like the oldest trick in the book. Whenever proprietors suspect that the tourists would like confirmation that whatever they sell is handmade, they plop a stooge there who sits there and does something resembling manual labor. 99% of the time, they're not actually doing anything productive. They're just another sales prop. And I suspect that's what was going on because, after observing but not filming this person for a little while, I realized that they're basically, filing on a piece of mild steel. Well, their best-selling product is a medieval-looking dagger, which is clearly machine-made and, not even sharpened. When I asked the proprietor, or I don't know, sales manager there, how come none of their blades were sharpened, he said, well, it's a dagger. It's supposed to poke. Maybe that was a language barrier, but to me as a knife person, that was like a slap on the face. If you are one of my viewers, I strongly advise you to, lower your expectations when you come shopping for knives in Spain. That said, sometimes there are brighter spots in the muddy waters of knife shopping in a tourist destination. And that spot I found in a tiny fortress town called Ronda. Believe it or not, there's only one knife shop in the whole town. They do all kinds of business, including sharpening the knives. And I watched customers coming in, buying pots, pans, kitchen knives, and getting their cutlery sharpened. This is, though, what their window and the entrance to the store look like. When I saw this dubious-looking Benchmade replica, I started losing hope. I mean, most knife sellers are not geared toward knife collector or YouTube reviewer like me, but come on. But I'm glad I made it in because I met this guy.
Mi nombre es José La Navaja, aquí en Ronda, en Málaga, España.
He's telling me this is a 440 stainless, and this is the maker. And then Jose tells me it's a very old family business that makes knives by hand. As opposed to these knives that are made by CNC machines, the knife that I'm interested in is made piece by piece by hand. Then I asked Jose to show me a couple other knives that caught my eye, especially because I like brass and horn combination. And he's explaining to me that this blade is a product of Portugal. The handle is a natural stack horn. The blade is 440 and the hardware is made out of brass.
Brass. Dos modelos iguales. Siempre cambia la empuñadura.
More thick. What I got? Just listen. This castañetas-like sound is primarily the reason I bought this particular knife. From what I've seen, the fully ratcheting Navaja is all but disappeared. And I am puzzled because truly there is no good technical reason to have these 5 ratcheting stops on the blade. Yes, it stops it when it's trying to close, but there's no practical use for it because if you try to chop in this position or slice, it will then open all the way. What is kind of funny, a couple YouTubers are trying to explain why these ratcheting Navajas disappeared, and they citing some new law that came in effect and prohibits them. That's all BS. There is no such prohibition since the Napoleon War, which ended, I think, in Spain in 1812. I believe the knife ratchet to warn your opponent that you're about to start a fight. This sound is a call for a duel. Yes, I believe Navaja is a dueling knife, not intended as a clandestine assassin's weapon. Unlike my next purchase, the Portuguese knife with a stack horn handle. It can be flicked open and locked with one hand, and it can be unlocked, closed, and hidden just as quickly. In fact, if this knife had some means to detent or lock the blade in a closed position and a pocket clip, it would be just like any modern tactical knife. Since the preteen years, one of my dreams was to own a blade from Toledo, Spain, just like Athos in the Three Musketeers. And that's why I bought this knife. Unfortunately, it is not made in Toledo, although it says Toledo Imperial on the blade. Instead, it is made in Albacete, which is 2 hours east from Toledo, by a company called Alba Inox, which is owned by Cuchilleria Martinez. And it came with a pretty well-made leather sheath and a blade that is 3 1/4 inches long, and the handle is only 3 1/8. So it's a small pocket-sized fixed blade. Inox in the name means it's stainless, which can be anything, but I suspect it's in the same category as a 420. Mine is not a traveling channel. Let me tell you though, traveling to Spain off-season only set me back $2,000. That includes everything: flight, stay in 5 cities, and knife shopping. So if you want to get you a fill of castles, windmills, fountains and gardens, ancient palaces, mosques, churches, synagogues, you can see everything on that trip. I mean, the zip line is next to a 1,000-year-old bridge. The weather was absolutely fantastic most of the time. The history is amazing. There's over 1,000 years worth of history. Locals were extremely friendly, as you can see here. And no matter what your background, heritage, or beliefs are, you will be guaranteed to find something that will literally stop your breath for a few seconds. I'm definitely going back there again. So if you are familiar with that country, let me know in the comments, what else should I go see?